Welcome to Two Chicks and a Horror Flick, a weekly horror movie review podcast. I'm Tawny Ray.
And I'm Felicia Connor. Subscribe to get new episodes every Wednesday. We dive into trivia, drink a little whiskey, and of course, give our no BS opinions.
Join our Discord server or message us on social media to talk all things scary.
And if you like the show, consider supporting us on Patreon.
You can find all these links on our website, twochicksandahorrorflick.com. Thanks for listening.
Now let's get scared. Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, we are so excited to be back. Has it been like 6 months? I feel like it's been like 6 months. It's been at least 2 months, yeah?
A month and a half, probably.
Yeah, a month. Tony's like, Felicia, it's been a month and a half, but that's a long time.
Yeah.
So we're really, really excited to be back with you. Happy holidays. What we're going to be talking about tonight. Look, I don't even know how to talk.
We forgot.
We totally forgot. I should just pretend I'm in a Zoom meeting because I do that all day and it'll be easier. We are doing When Evil Lurks 2023 movie. We're very excited to talk about it. But before we do that, do we talk about what we're drinking?
Oh yeah, I do.
The flow, Tawny.
I do. What? How do we do this again? I do have a beverage.
Nice.
Okay.
Ooh.
Still trying to cut back on drinking over here. So I had Jade make me a little mocktail. And so it's like San Pellegrino with a little bit of this like ginger liqueur. Technically, it's not totally alcohol free because there's just like a splash of this ginger liqueur that we got at our housewarming party. But you know, it's got to be like fucking 2% or something. So it's really good and light and refreshing. So that's what I got going on.
Ooh.
What are you drinking?
I wish I had that going on. I was in solidarity with you. So I have a giant glass of water with a splash of fresh squeezed lemon.
Ooh, very fancy. Okay. With our fancy drinks.
Us with our fancy drinks. Oh, I love it. We are, So, eventually it's already the 15th or 14th. 14th. I should, when we're recording, obviously, not when you're hearing this. But I should definitely post an agenda for the month of December. Yeah. We are doing When Evil Lurks, and then we're doing our classic, iconic year in review. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we were real, I feel like, kind of optimistic coming into December. But lo and behold, December has been very busy as well. So it was a little hard to come back from November and jump right in with an episode right away. So
yeah, it was hard. And then Tawny was trying. She's like, hey, can we do it? And I'm like, it's Hanukkah. And I really went like all out trying to cook and do all the things for Hanukkah for 8 nights.
Yeah. You got the bread, you got the candles, you got everything for Hanukkah.
So this is what we could do, but I think you're going to like it. It's been a long time. What have you been up to? Watching, reading, liking?
Oh my God, so much, dude. I don't even know how to, I'll try to do a really condensed version of a catch up. So we went to Hawaii with some of Jade's family. That was fun. We went to Kauai, which is the island that they shot Jurassic Park on. I told Felicia that you guys all need to go as a family. That's your family trip. It was beautiful, awesome, warm, just what I needed. I felt very refreshed after going there. I read like 3 books over the course of that trip. It was like a week, but I read a ton. Then went to visit my family in Colorado over Thanksgiving. So that was really fun. We saw Thanksgiving in theaters with my mom. We did an escape room, which is, I think, very fast becoming a like family tradition after starting that last year. But it was really fun. It was actually one of the best escape rooms that I feel like I've done. And what else? We came back, and then now it's like holiday time. It just feels like there was no time because then we had our holiday party at work. And let's see, what did I watch? I'll just do like a highlight reel. I can't remember. When I look at my list, I can't remember what we've talked about before, but I think I remember telling you about SLC Punk. Does that sound familiar?
I don't think so.
No. Okay, I gotta go up further. Just one of the days, I was like, I really want to watch something. Did I not talk about this? Maybe I did. I don't remember. But I was like, I want to watch something nostalgic, but that like I haven't actually watched. So we watched SLC Punk and it was amazing. It was such a good movie. We couldn't like stop talking about it all day.
I don't think you've told me this.
Okay. It was awesome. I think it was right before we went to Hawaii, so that makes sense. Watched 2001: A Space Odyssey. Hated it. Not a fan. We watched it on one of our plane rides to and from Hawaii. It's like a 6-hour plane ride. And we were like, oh, if there was ever a time to sit and watch a 3-hour-long movie, here it is. And it still felt slow when there was nothing else to do. So there's my unpopular opinion on that. I can solidly say that I'm not a Stanley Kubrick fan, and I don't think I ever will be, because now I've seen 3 of his movies. It's just not for me. We also watched Maverick on one of the plane rides, and that was okay. I haven't seen the first one though, so I'm like, I don't know. I didn't see the hype, but that's probably another unpopular opinion. The two main fiction things that I want to call out. We watched Blue-Eyed Samurai on Netflix, which was amazing, and Scavenger's Reign on Max, which was also amazing. And both of these are animated series, like adult animation series. And I'm not usually like into the animation things, but God, they were both so, so good. So highly recommend those. Then in the nonfiction world, the two main things that I feel like were crazy that we watched are the Twin Flames documentaries. You can see I was in a cult mood, because then the second one we watched was Love Has Won, The Cult of Mother God on HBO Max. And both of those were crazy. And I spent a lot of the time after just thinking about them and how insane they were. That's my quick summary. Hopefully that was quick enough. What have you been watching, listening to?
So I did, Tawny had texted me. And so I did also watch Twin Flames documentary. And then also right after that, Love Has Won. Yeah, I was just and then right after that, I went into The Garden, Commune or Cult. I was like, whoa, let's just take a look at all these things. So for the first two, craziness, like just go watch it.
Yeah,
it's like, what? I thought the Love Has Won was interesting, because this was one where a cult where the woman, she was a lovely person. Definitely she was struggling with some demons with, the alcoholism and such, but she wasn't telling the people to do anything bad, go kill yourself or go do that, like typically bad cult leaders do. It was just very interesting. And all of these people are still like in it. It was crazy. It was crazy. So those two, very crazy. Then when I went into The Garden, Commune or Cult, I haven't finished that. I don't think I will, because honestly, I was all for the Commune. It seemed like it was like almost like a reality show where there is this commune, I'm going to call it. It's called The Garden. And then people are chosen. I don't know if you send in an interview video, and you're chosen to go and spend 10 days on there. And then you have to report back on if you think it was a cult or a commune. Every person
weird.
I saw that they sent in there were just raging assholes, honestly. Like they were, the people of The Garden were doing something particular. I don't know. They were making a compost toilet. I think that's what you do, whatever it is. And he's explaining how to do it. And the one person that was invited in is like, well, tell me more about this. And the one guy with The Garden couldn't fully explain like how it works. And he's like, this is just then off camera, right? The guy's like, this is just bullshit. You're telling me that this is how you live your life and you can't even explain this to me? This is a fucking cult. Or there's this girl who is rubbing everybody the wrong way. And so they want her to leave. And they're like, oh man, this is like a cult because they're excluding people. Dude, if you have a very small community, dude, my family, let's think of the horror community, our family. we're sitting here and then someone comes in and they're just like kind of obnoxious and rubbing people the wrong way. You're going to ask them to leave. You're going to ask them to leave your life because you have to preserve what you have. Right. Or she was recording things all the time. And he was like, do not record me. And so at one point he lost his temper. He grabbed her phone and got on his bike and rode away. So then she calls the police and she's like, oh, this is a cult. They're stealing my possessions. Get the fuck out of here. So
Weird.
I left it because I was like, all these people need to leave this commune alone. I was definitely on the side of commune versus cult. So anyway.
Funny. That sounds like a weird social
Yeah.
experiment or something like designed for shooting and getting it on TV. Like you said, it was like some weird reality. Like that seems fucking set up.
It was
like a setup to me.
Frustrating because it was definitely like these people that were coming in to the commune. The people in the commune, I think it's a real thing. The garden, they've built a whole community and then they were going to another state to build a community, and they want to build pockets of these because not only are they preserving land that can't be, built up because they're buying it and creating like these little communes, but they also can travel around the US commune to commune, right? And it's just all natural and, whatever. It was great. And so I'm like, ooh, what's the scary cult stuff that's going to happen? Nothing.
Right,
Just all these assholes are coming in, causing trouble. Okay, anyways, I'm off that soapbox. Whew. We started American Horror Story Delicate. We only watched that because Kim Kardashian is in it. Really good job, Kim. And I was watching it with my middle daughter because she loves the Kardashians. And she was like, what is up with this show? And I'm like, they're all like that. They're very quirky and bizarre. It just is what it is. So just be along for the ride.
Yeah. You just have to
don't expect anything amazing.
Yeah.
It's going to get really weird. So I think it's fun because Kim is in it and because I'm watching it with my daughter. But
yeah,
me and Steve watched Saw X in the movie theater.
Okay, cool.
Well, and we watched, Leave the World Behind the other night.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if this is something we'll talk about because technically it's a drama, but it was, dude, I would love to talk about it with somebody.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, I fucking loved it. So I don't know how everybody else is, but Leave the World Behind. This was something that I just kept talking about afterwards. So happy. I then watched, I only have two more things. I watched Lovely Bones. And it's because I saw a clip. Okay, because you guys will laugh or think I'm nuts. I saw a clip on TikTok where it's loosely based on a true story where a girl was kidnapped and murdered. The actor in it, Stanley Tucci, he is phenomenal. And so the clip was how easily this man was, I'm not going to give you anything away in the movie. You could look and see a girl was kidnapped. How easily this man just manipulated this little girl into actually following him when she was like, no, I got to get home, but how he twisted it. So the clip just showed that he was so good in this movie. So then I sent that clip to all of my children. And I said, watch this clip. He doesn't do anything in the clip except lure her. And I go, she has been kidnapped now. So just pay attention to how he was manipulating her. Anyways, I loved him. I thought the acting was good. We also had, Mark Wahlberg and Rachel Weisz. I was really irritated by it, though. I thought there was this bizarre portion of it, and it ended like F-U-C-K. I don't know why I couldn't say that, but I don't know. It just, I was not happy with this movie at all, but he is amazing in it. So it's almost like watch those portions and then expect it not to be good
for the rest.
Moving forward for the rest of it.
Yeah, I've never seen that one. It's kind of been on my radar forever, but I never feel like watching it.
Oh gosh, you're going to watch it and this whole sequence of stuff with the girl, I'm not going to say anything else about it. You're going to be like, oh, fuck. I know this sounds evil because how I prefaced it, that it was a little girl who gets kidnapped, but this is not the what it's about.
Okay.
That's a small piece of it, I guess, is what I'll say.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Anyways, guys, I'll let that go. The last two things I wanted to tell you, which is the most exciting, is we binged the heck out of the Squid Games, the game show, not the other show, the original show, but the actual game show. I don't know why I can't talk tonight. Dude, it's so well done.
Really?
It's so well done. Every night we were so excited to watch it. We binged big chunks of it, stayed up way too late. They did a really good job of making you nervous and full of anxiety and making you upset with people. And it was excellent, I would have to say.
This is another thing that I was like, maybe I should watch that. But every time I'm like, I just don't feel like watching that. But I also want to watch a reality competition show deeply. So I'm
Tawny,
like, but I keep resisting.
Watch it. I know. I felt the same way. But Steve was like, let's just watch this. And we watched one episode. I'm like, oh, okay. Then we watched the next one. And then we just binged it every night. We got to a point where we went to go watch it, but the last one hadn't been released. And we were so bummed.
Shit.
Really, really well done. It is. Okay. Just try it. Okay.
I will. Okay. I promise.
Last but not least, and this is the one I'm most happy about because Steve is also addicted to it, Bridgerton.
Oh, yeah. You were telling me about this.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
See, I was so resistant to it. I was like, I'm not going to be into this at all. Even though I like period pieces and stuff like that, I was like, this is going to be corny. This is just like some ditzy little, I don't know. I'm not going to be into it. But I had, because of everything that's going on with the war and with, I was watching too much true crime, binging way too much stuff in my feed about the war. And I was feeling depressed. So I sat down with Steve and I'm like, let's watch Bridgerton. Like, it's like polar opposite. The reason I got so excited with Steve is he hates period pieces. He is not into it. He likes love stories. I mean, like he likes Love Actually and like happy romantic comedies, but he was like, he doesn't think he's going to be into it, but he did it for me because I was feeling pretty bummed. And he's like, hey, do you want to watch Bridgerton?
Yeah. That's awesome.
We're almost done. We're totally almost done. We only have like a couple more episodes.
Interesting. Okay. I really liked it. I liked season 1 better than season 2. So are you almost done with season 2 then?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I did love season 1. Season 2 I still enjoy, but yeah, season 1 was really exciting.
There's something missing from season 2. I'm not sure what it is, but I also read the book of season 2. You gave me it actually, but I read it before watching the season. So I think that didn't help because I was kind of like in like the book mode. And I feel like it kind of did a better job sometimes of some of the things. But you know what else is good? That they did a spinoff. They did a Queen Charlotte spinoff. There's also a season of that. And I really liked that too. It was a little different in vibe, but I still liked it. And I'm excited. I think the new season is coming out at the beginning of next year. So
okay, so I will watch Queen Charlotte once we're done with this one. Yeah, I am really enjoying it. It's such a nice, and I got so into it and was watching so much of this that I haven't watched true crime in like, I would say 2 or 3 weeks. Every time I go to think of watching it, I think of, I'm just really tired of feeling so sad.
Yeah.
And so I don't.
Well, perfect. Because you have Bridgerton to fill that gap.
Thanks for giving me this platform to share all the things.
There's really something about, if you had told me like 3 years ago that I would be a fan of historical romance, I would have laughed you out the door because that was not my vibe. None of it. But there's something about it that is really escapism. And I think that's probably true for all of us because culturally we're so far away from that now, you know, just there's so much that you have to get like acclimated to, I feel like, in the historical romance realm. And historical romance is also like a huge word that encompasses like anything like that's not modern, basically. But like, I don't know what this one's called, like Regency era or something.
I think
like
that's right. Regency.
Okay. Yeah, this like Regency thing where it's like you can't be alone. You have to be escorted everywhere. You know, you can't be caught alone with somebody or else you're forced to marry them. Like, it's just so far away from society now. And I think that's why it feels like total escapism. And I've also been like really having a good time with like sci-fi stuff. I think that Scavenger's Reign was like a sci-fi show. And so it's just nice to have some escapism in our lives, you know?
Yeah, I agree. You know, give me a gorgeous gown that pushes up my bosom, some diamonds, and a cross stitch. Let's do it.
Yes.
I'm ready to relax for a little while.
Same, dude. Give me a crocheted shrug and some full skirts. I'll fucking
what do we
peel
need
some
to
potatoes.
Do today? Buy some more dresses and go to a ball? All right.
I'm in. Oh, we'll sleep in until that's always the thing too. Everybody's always sleeping in till fucking noon. And then they just lounge around and eat and go to parties. Fuck yeah.
Yes. Yes. More dresses.
Exactly. I need a dress for every occasion.
Definitely we want to be on the Regency side, not the poor side. Or else that's definitely not fun. I'm glad they don't have too much of that.
Exactly.
Very depressing. Oh, all right. You ready?
I'm ready.
We are talking about When Evil Lurks, in case you forgot and thought we were talking about Bridgerton. It was a 2023 movie. We were like, we need to watch more 2023 movies. So we got this one in. Yeah. I watched it on Shudder. No, I actually watched it on Amazon Prime, but you can watch it on Shudder since it is a Shudder movie. It was directed by Demián Rugna. He also created Terrified, which I keep seeing the picture of that. I haven't seen it though, but I want to now. Satanic Hispanics, Cursed Bastards, Death Knows Your Name. The only one I recognized was that Terrified because I see that cover all the time.
Yeah.
I know I just said that. I'm just repeating myself.
I did watch that, I think last year, the year before or something. And there were some good scares in it.
Okay. Yeah. The cast is Ezequiel Rodriguez as Pedro, Damian Solomon as Jimmy, Emilio Vedanovich as Jair, Marcelo Michanu as Santino, Luis Zembrowski as Ruiz, and Slavina Sabater as Mirtha. So yeah, the two brothers, Pedro's sons, the rich landowner Ruiz, and then Mirtha, the only one who's able to kill this thing. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of other people, good performances, but those are the ones I have. So the budget was between 5 to 10 million. I saw both posted around, so somewhere around there. The box office was 546,000.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 98%. IMDb a 7 out of 10, and Letterboxd a 3.6 out of 5. I have a short 2-sentence summary, my friends.
Okay.
Because it was, I was like, wait, I forgot. Do we do a summary or not? It's been so long.
It's been so long, Felicia forgot we cuss on this podcast.
Yeah, I know. My goodness. It's too much Bridgerton.
My word.
My word. We're going to spoil the shit out of this. I know Tawny usually says that, but I'm going to switch it up. We're going to spoil it. Get ready. Not by this summary, by the way. In a remote village, two brothers find a demon-infected man just about to give birth, in quotes, to evil itself. They decide to get rid of the body, only to end up unintentionally spreading chaos. All right.
True.
Tawny, what did you think about this movie? How did you feel?
Well, I want to say that the reason why we chose this movie is because we both looked at a list of 2023 movies that we hadn't seen there's a handful that we have seen, we just haven't talked about, or, but then we have a probably larger list of ones that we haven't seen. But this was top of the list because we're seeing a lot of people talk about it, seeing really good things. And so we were like, okay, we're both most excited to watch this one. Let's do it. So I ended up being pretty disappointed, if I'm being honest. And I'm hoping that you can tell me some stuff that I can help me like it more. But I was just like, I don't know. I feel like it started off really good and then it really lost me in like the third act where things got really muddy and complicated. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And I couldn't quite understand just like any of what was happening. And I think part of that was due to probably the maybe not. I don't know. I feel like I got the gist kind of, but sometimes the subtitles were weird. Like I was like, I don't know if the translation was like 100% to English. So I don't know. That's where I ended up, but I probably was like overhyped because everybody was saying really great things. I mean, 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's high, and I know I was like trying to be like, I feel like this is a low budget movie. I'm trying to give it its thing. The acting was all good. I liked the ideas. Visually, it looked really good and scary and gory. But the story is really like, I feel like they had good ideas, but it really lost me. How did you feel about it? Because I saw your face and I feel like you are on the opposite end of the spectrum.
I am. I really liked it.
Okay.
I really liked it a lot.
Okay.
So first going into it, but I do have to say, I had to rewind it several times to reread the subtitles.
Okay.
That was one thing I was bummed about, is that I couldn't really just absorb all of what I was looking at because they talked a lot and fast. And so, and beautifully. I'm just saying I had to constantly kind of rewind. And the subtitles on the movie were kind of like smallish and grayish.
They were like short.
I would miss things. Yeah. And they were short and I would miss them. Yeah. They'd give a short burst of what they were saying. So they went by fast.
Mm-hmm.
So I do agree with that. I had to rewind several times. I really loved, first of all, the way it looked. The look and feel of the movie is right up my alley, right up my vibe.
It's right up my vibe.
Right up my vibe, man. I thought it was beautiful. The acting I thought was phenomenal. I mean, everybody I feel was very believable. I didn't have a problem with anybody. I was very like interested and invested in all of these characters. I thought the disgust was disgusting.
True.
And well done. Visuals that I hadn't really seen before and ideas that I hadn't seen. I loved this new take on possession. And they talk about this as well, just moving right into that, where it's a possession movie, but not a typical possession movie. It's not about religion. Even though there's possession, it's not really about religion. Priests aren't going to save you. Prayer's not going to save you. There's rules. And also this take of everyone knows about it. Typically, everyone's like, what's wrong with my child? What's happening? They have the flu. They're schizophrenic, whatever it is. No, everyone knows about this. And there's rules that you follow when this happens. I just thought this was a really cool, fresh take. The only thing that brought me a little out of it was this really bizarre fucking tool that this woman was setting up, like Tesla or something. Like,
yeah.
I don't even know if I'm the right person. Galileo.
Yeah.
It didn't throw me out. Like, I was like, this is so stupid. It just became a little, like, what is this thing? It just brought me into like steampunk era.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I was curious. I wanted to see how it worked. And then nothing. We have no idea how this thing works. No idea at all. So,
yeah.
But anyways, yeah. Overall, I really enjoyed it. And it was so, evil wins. That doesn't happen often either. It's like, no matter what you try to do, you're just sitting there at the end like, oh, I guess we're all fucked. Like, I don't know this. Yeah. If this thing is out in the world, it's done.
Yeah, I liked that part of it too, because that is something that I feel like we don't see very often. And the ending was kind of like, oh shit, well, that's
There's that.
yeah, that's
They
just
failed.
what happened. Yep.
They failed.
It's pretty bleak. It's a pretty bleak outlook at the end.
Maybe I get out of the way and just start with my favorite scene of this entire movie that, thinking about it right now, gives me cold chills. It's maybe one of my favorite scenes in horror. One of them, not the one, but definitely one of my favorite. When that fucking dog attacked that girl.
Oh my God.
It was so fucking good because you just are so focused on the parents yelling at each other, chaos. And the moments with the little girl and the dog, they're so calm. And you're just right behind him. And there's this breathing of the dog. Just, he's happy and panting. And all of a sudden, bah, he takes her face and he's flinging around. Dude, it was so good. You guys are going to think I'm really, no, you won't think I'm weird because all of you like horror. I rewound it once I was done with the movie and rewatched that whole thing. I thought it was so fucking good.
I almost rewatched it because I was also like, Jade was watching this part with me and we both, well, first of all, I agree totally. This was an amazing scene. And but I disagree in the way that like, oh my God, they set it up so well. So the fucking tension and the anxiety that I felt all the way leading up, because I knew that's what was going to happen. I was like, these kids, and they kept cutting back to it and it kept not happening. And so the way that they built the tension in this one scene was, I mean, just amazing. I was like,
I agree with you. You knew something was going to happen with the dog. And you're thinking like this possession is going to go into the dog because they keep showing the dog constantly, the dog. But when it happened, it was just smooth. I went, oh shit, like loud. And then Steve looked up because he didn't like the gore, so he wasn't watching all of it. And I paused it to collect myself. Yeah, that's how it shocked me.
And then the follow-up shot though of her this is so fucked, with the dog with her in the mouth and he shook her like dogs do. I that made me gasp. I was like, oh my God. Like,
and then he runs with her out the house by her face.
Dude, kids are always so safe. Not always, but most of the time they're safe. And so that was one thing I did appreciate about this movie, is that these fucking kids were not safe. And in fact, we watched them die pretty horrible, fucking gruesome deaths.
All of them. All of them.
Yikes, dude.
Yeah, that was incredible. I told Steve, because he also doesn't like reading movies. And so he was going to watch it with me, but he had to read it in the car. I did catch him looking up several times though. But I told him this is something a lot. I agree. I like being able to fully visually absorb a movie, and sometimes subtitles take away with it. But the other side of it is foreign movies I find are so good. The acting is usually really good. And I was telling him, and they usually really push the limits. Yeah. Like in American movies, you don't often see kids getting mangled by dogs, but you may in a foreign film. Because we all want to see that.
But here we can enjoy.
Yes.
Yes.
But it's the pushing the limits that I enjoy. I don't even know why. I mean, I don't even know why I try to like make excuses for myself.
No, yeah, you don't have to. And but I think that is something that, I feel like we may have talked about this briefly, but it's a movie we haven't covered. But I will say that The Offering gives a little bit of this too, where there's this demonic spirit that is truly sinister. And I feel like in some ways, a lot of these possession movies have kind of gotten away from this. And I feel like, we talked about The Exorcist and you see it in that movie for sure. But like, I feel like a lot of possession movies have just become like the demon is just messing with people, or like it's just making people scared, like. And that actually doesn't feel that like sinister. But then there's a few of these movies like The Offering and like this one that really feel like, oh, this thing is fucking out to do some serious damage. And it's not discriminating. It's going to fuck up whoever it can because it's true evil. And I feel like that's cool. And it's scary.
I totally agree. I will say there were some pieces that confused me. For example, when the landowner, Ruiz, his wife screams, and like it's not clear why she's screaming at goats at all. Like all the goats look the
Yeah.
same. And finally, the one goat is standing there. Okay. And it puts its head up to the gun. And she's like, don't shoot it. Don't shoot it. Like, kill it with the axe. He shoots it. So now I assume now that demon has gone into her husband, possibly because he used a gun. So she axes him. But I didn't know why she axed herself. Or was she forced to axe herself because of the demon, but she didn't use a gun? You know, there's like this piece was, I was kind of confused on, you don't shoot the demon, but can you use a knife? I mean, I guess not, because she axed herself in the face.
This is also, I mean, overall, I feel like the movie is pretty inconsistent. And maybe again, I'm kind of missing things and I might not have fully understood the rules or something. So I'm misreading it. But what we thought happened was that he shot the goat and the goat was holding the demon and the demon went from the goat to the wife. And that's why she killed him and then killed herself.
But then that makes me wonder, why don't the demons kill themselves? Well, I guess maybe they do kind of, I guess that when the dad, okay, this was another scene I really loved. When the mom was standing there with her little girl and the little girl wasn't hurt and then the dad just drove the truck right into the mom.
Yeah.
But an airbag stopped him from dying.
I mean, yeah, I guess we never see what happens to
him. And they
him.
were all zombie-like too. Like, so do they all become zombies? Because we don't see Ruiz's wife, pregnant wife, now become a zombie. But we do see sorry, my phone is loud. We do see Pedro's ex-wife now a zombie walking down the street.
This is, I do, like, this was all very confusing. And something else that I felt like I was noticing, maybe I was mixed up on the timeline, but like while the demon is in that goat, I also feel like the demon is out like doing other things in other people. And so it felt like it wasn't just maybe one demon, or the demon could be in other places. So that's what it was really confusing to me, because I'm like, it seems like evil is afoot no matter what you do. And so why
can't
the
stop
rule
it at all?
Why the rule about not shooting it with a gun? It doesn't seem to matter. So I agree. This was very confusing. There was also this element kind of like, oh, there's some people that the demon can't get, like how we felt at the end was like, there's some people that the demon can't get into. And then there's the people that it can still manipulate. But that doesn't make sense with his ex-wife because the brother saw the ex-wife. So, like, I don't think it would be manipulating him, because one of the other rules was like, you have to not be afraid to die, and it takes the thing that you're scared most of. And so that's specifically why they sent the brother, because that's not like his biggest fear. So why would he be manipulated that way? I don't know. Like, I felt like the movie's own logic didn't hold up all the time.
I agree with you, because now I'm thinking about it. So, which was also a cool scene where she's walking down the street, just eating her kid's brain like a eaten bag of popcorn.
Yeah.
That was crazy. So now is that little boy going to come back to life?
I don't know. I
mean, I don't think so, but why not?
That's a good question. I felt like people weren't coming. That's the one that seems like it's coming back to life almost. We didn't see how much she got hurt, I guess. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, maybe the demon though didn't go into the little boy. So he actually does die. It does seem like that the main demon, maybe those rules apply to the main demon thing itself that was giving birth, because once you kill it, maybe,
because then that's the other thing, is like they finally come back and find him, the guy the demon's still in him. So I'm like, what? It's been in this guy the whole time? I thought it was in the ex-wife and the kid and the what?
I think it's like Yeah, I think it was like his essence or his energy, but he was like the main mothership
Mm.
that had the actual demon in him, like the devil, right? Because
Yeah.
Lucifer, Beelzebub, that's the devil. So devil itself was inside that cocoon, I guess, or
Okay.
that host. But evil itself, or the evil from the devil is power, is going around everywhere. Yeah, because that whole group of kids were and then
Yeah.
why did okay, evil likes kids and kids like evil. Why? It
This
did
is
seem like
really
they were throwing stuff out there with not really stitching things together cohesively to make it make sense.
totally. This is really where they lost me because I'm like, as much as we're talking about like the rules and everything, one thing that I really did like about this movie is that it did feel like an alternate universe where everybody it does seem to be like there's not really like a church and everybody knows about this thing and knows the rules and has the same language to talk about it with each other. And so I liked that part of it. I'm not saying
Yeah.
anything bad about that. I even liked that there were rules. I thought there were maybe too many rules. Like 7 rules. Okay. But this is where they really lost me here on the like I feel like this is where the movie started to drag and they go and they're like, oh, the kids, evil likes children and children like kids. Well, okay, why did it kill the youngest son then? That doesn't make sense to me. Why is it keeping these other kids alive? Like I felt like like most of the vibe, most of the movie was up my vibe also. I felt like a big part of it felt like a zombie possession film, which was awesome. I like those two things. And then another big part of it felt like a really dark, violent family drama. It reminded me of The Dark and the Wicked. And I really liked those two parts. But right here at this like school part, it started to remind me of that like really zany part at the end of Insidious. I don't know if you can reach in those memory banks.
God, tried to block that out. But I remember you saying that brought it all back to my forefront.
Yes, and there's this like weird like childlike element where it's like, and then like you said, you have like this steampunk like contraption that we're supposed to be using, and everything's kind of riddly all of a sudden. Like she's like, the kids are like, oh, you have to go here, and she's like, no, don't listen to him. And then there's another kid, no, I lied, he's over here. Like, and then she's like, no, he's here. Because the kids are trying to get us to leave. Like, I was like, what are we doing? We're trying to like solve a riddle to take out this fucking deep. Like, this is where I felt like we lost the sinister nature of this thing because this thing is just fucking up people left and right. Why isn't it keeping these kids alive? That doesn't make any sense to me. Ugh, I was frustrated about it.
I was also frustrated with, and I actually have a piece about this. There wasn't a lot of trivia, but I looked up the author, the writer and director himself. He talked a lot about what inspired him, what he thought about it. But everybody grew up with these rules. Can anybody follow like them for 2 seconds, even to the very end? Don't go. This is the only woman that it's the only person that has this wild contraption that is going to be able to save everybody. But I'm going to say this, and I love men and masculinity. If there is a toxic masculinity, this is it.
Yeah.
Fuck you, person that obviously has all the knowledge, has done this before, has this crazy wacky contraption. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to go get the axe. He's just constantly doing shit on his own. It was so frustrating. And so the little children kill her because he's fucking around in the office when she told him not to. So finally he gets out after like trying to open the door a lot, maybe just break the window. But anyway, so he goes out there, right? And then of all things, there was one thing she told you. Take that thing and put it in the nape of his neck. Would it have worked? Probably not, because the rest of the contraption was broken, but you knew that's what she said specifically. What do? You take some other big old thing and bludgeon him over the head. Great job. At the end of it, I literally was like, welcome, devil. There's like,
come on in.
All of these people are just fucking stupid. Welcome.
Take them out.
I didn't even feel bad for them, honestly. At the end, I didn't feel bad because of all of this. I was like, you guys just fucking brought it upon yourself.
No, I kind of didn't either. And I feel like, yeah, that's probably like a big miss on the movie's part as well. And I didn't even think about it until you just said it. But like, I did care most about the kids. And then by the end, like, they're dead. And all we're left with are these two brothers. And you're right, the main one is kind of obnoxious in his actions and what he does. And it's like, what are you? I could not believe that he left that fucking room to get an axe that one of these stupid little demon kids told him was in it. I'm like, clearly this is a fucking trick. You literally just had the realization 20 seconds ago that they're lying to you. And now you're going to think that it's true. It's so dumb. I was also very frustrated by this. And I also was like, I was so frustrated watching him pull up these planks. I'm like, you find that guy underneath this stage. What the fuck are you going to do? He's like 300 pounds. It took
you
4 grown men
house.
Move him before. There's no way that you're going to be able to do this by yourself, which is fine. But like, why just say that? Like, she keeps being like, get him. He's out of the, like, just, it was like, I don't know. This whole back part was such this like frustrating pull and push of like, but not the way that they think they wanted it to be. Like, it just wasn't scary. It was very frustrating. It was like, what are you doing? And then, I don't know. To me, actually, the moment where he breaks and he just bludgeons that thing in the head, I kind of liked it because I was kind of like, I mean, you're like, it's in this guy's character, it seems like, because he just can't figure it out. And he's so frustrated and so much shit has already happened to him that he just doesn't know what to do. But I think that's like spot on kind of in the way that you're like, this is how you act when you don't think things through. And he damns them all.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is spot on to who he is, because all he's doing is losing his temper and not thinking things through. I just felt like, dude, just like this one last thing.
Yeah,
she
just
told
try
you to
it.
put it in his neck, and he still didn't. So it made me go, well, okay, here we go. I did think the little Satan was really cool looking.
Yeah, I liked
that little Satan kid. He was so cool.
I liked the little mark on his head too, that it marks him with the blood on his forehead and he can't wash it off later. I was like, mark of the beast.
Yes. Yeah, bitch. She's yelling, get him out. And all I can think about was how heavy he was when the men were trying to get him out of the house. It's all I could think about. And she's like, get him out. And he's like, I'm trying. Get him out. Get him out. I'm like, dude, you're not getting him out. I thought the same thing. Like, you need to figure something else out. Or you need to holler at that lady to help you or something. I don't know. Just
be clear. Say, hey, listen, this guy, he's pretty big. I can't move him on my own.
We tried already.
I'm going to need you to move that contraption down here. Okay?
Yes.
You need to come to me because I can't do this.
Yeah, exactly. And the nape of his neck was visible. They could have gotten it in and with, him in there. Probably would have been better with him trapped under all of those bodies. But yeah, they kill. Anyway. Okay.
Wait. I feel like. Oh, sorry.
No,
I felt like this was a good moment to talk about something else, unless that you were going to continue a thought, because I don't want to interrupt.
I wasn't. I was going to talk something else. So go.
Okay. One of my other notes that I don't like about this movie is I feel like there were multiple moments of unintentional humor, and one of them is during this scene. But I'm going to back up and talk about the first one, which is when they're driving with him in the car. And then, so they're driving with this like 300-pound man in the back of a truck, and there's like a kid in the road, and they swerved to not hit the kid, and they swerved pretty big. And I thought, oh boy, if they try to pass it off like this man just flung out the side of this truck, I am gonna laugh for the next 14 hours because there's no fucking way. And like, that's exactly what happens. They drive another 20 minutes, apparently, finally stop the truck, go look in the back of the truck, and he gone. I'm like, nope, that's not what would have happened. But also, they had like the truck bed like almost totally closed. They had like a cover over the top of it, which was like almost totally closed. I just was like, this makes no fucking sense. So that was like very funny. And then this moment at the end here where he's like in the stage and they cut back and his head is like partially above the stage. And he's like talking to them. That also felt funny to me. And then later at the very end of the movie, there's a scene where Jair like he's throwing up like hair, which is creepy. I really liked this part. But then they cut to a shot of the hair on the ground and there's like a huge ball. And it was like not there before and now it's there. And it just I felt like some of these like editing choices were really like, no, I don't think you're trying to be funny here, but it was.
I agree with the first two. Well, when they swerved, I was like, oh, I bet he flew out of the car. Not because it's possible, but just because I thought, oh, he probably flew out of there. And then when his head was up, I got a little confused. I'm like, is he? Because if he was to sit up, he would be fully out. But he's now like, I don't know, that big, really huge 300-pound man is somehow scrunched up in a ball looking up. Like, I don't know how that works, but good thing it was quick. The hairball I thought I didn't notice that. And I think because I was so disgusted, you know how I feel about vomiting. There's so much like pussy vomiting. And one of the most disgusting things that horror movies love to do is like pulling hair that's like gagging down your throat. Mm-hmm. So I was so disgusted by the whole thing. So I don't think I noticed.
Okay, that makes sense.
Pete ate his grandma.
Yeah. Oh, that's another like thing that doesn't get introduced until like later, I feel like, is like the eating of people. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I wish this would have been like planted. The seed had been planted earlier or something. Again, maybe I missed something, but I'm like,
no, I don't think so. I feel like this maybe is like a 3-part novel series that they condensed into one movie. Like maybe all of these things were a part of it and, you know, a part of the story and the lore of the Rotten. And they condensed it. They didn't, but there were a lot of things introduced that didn't go anywhere else, like the contraption. Like, now they eat people. A lot of different things.
Yeah, weird. Anyway.
All right. Let me tell you this. This is from the director. Some things he said about the theme of the movie, about what inspired him. So it touches on some of the stuff we talked about. He didn't set out to make a message movie, just one that would scare audiences. I've noticed for myself in my movies, for a greater horror story, I want to make you suffer, he said. And the social element just comes along with my culture. So that is in reference to this next piece of what inspired him. So he wasn't necessarily trying to make a specific point, but this is what inspired him. There's a couple things. So first, because the rules take effort and self-control, and people are often greedy, lazy, or impulsive. So we're like, just follow the rules. The rules have been around forever, right? Just follow them. We're just not capable because we're greedy, lazy, or impulsive, which is true. So it's too hard. And I'll link the article that I got this from. You need to comply with the rules because the demon wants you to, but it's too hard for us to run away from cities, try to avoid electricity, to avoid even thinking about the devil. It's too hard, right? If you even think about health-wise, it's way better for me to say exercise daily and eat whole food, all vegetables. It's hard though. I want to go get a cheeseburger or a hamburger, right? So that aspect of it. And also, he said that they're also meant to rely on institutions put in place to help them. At the beginning of the film, it becomes clear that the government has systems in place to handle the encarnado, and those systems had failed entirely because of bureaucratic indifference and laziness. So his inspiration was what first sparked the idea of the story was the farm pesticides in his native Argentina causing widespread health issues. So what he says about that is, The owners of those lands contaminate those fields with glyphosate to kill bugs, so pesticide. There's a lot of people who work in those fields and they get cancer. And you probably see the little kid with cancer because they are workers. They didn't say anything, or if they say something, nobody knows. And he suggests that corporate apathy about the workers' health and the way the issue occurred out in the middle of nothing, where it's easy for profiteers and city dwellers to ignore the impact of their choices, got him to start thinking about the evil, the idea of lurking evil given free rein to spread. The pesticides infected them. Kids were born with cancer. He goes through a lot of stuff of what happened, and that nobody, everyone's so far removed, they don't have to worry about it, the people of the land. And then my last piece he talked about was, he said about religion. He goes, I liked that the characters couldn't get religious help. I have no religion, the director said, and I hate religion as a business. I love it as a religion as a faith or for helping people, but not as a business. Instead, the characters in When Evil Lurks have to rely on each other and on their own courage and discipline. And obviously that goes badly.
Yeah.
So some different things, different aspects there.
Yeah, I like those elements. I did definitely feel that there was like an apathy and like a complicit nature to the like police and the mayor. They were like, did you call the mayor? Yeah, the mayor doesn't give a shit. Neither does the police station. Like, people have seen this and they don't care about what's going on and how, yeah, your institutions can fail you. I like that piece of it.
I liked this element of, it just came back to me. I was going to mention it and I forgot, how the camera is lurking over everyone's back. Like the visual, it was When Evil Lurks. I felt like they were being creeped up on.
Ooh.
When they came up from behind, even the little girl and her dog, and the dog attacks her.
Oh, yeah.
Or lots with Pedro, and he's sitting there when the window was open and it was just coming up on the back when he's bathing. So if you ever watch it again, you'll see this kind of view, like we're almost lurking on the people, sneaking up behind them and keeping an eye on them. I really liked that.
I did not pick up on that. That's a really great observation. And I wish I could go back and watch it again. I might be able, I think I'm going to rent. I'm going to get Shudder again to try to finish out some of these 2023 movies as we get closer to the end of the year.
I should have did it during Black Friday. Damn it.
But yeah, really great observation. That's cool. I like that element a lot.
Yeah, take a look. At least speed like through it if you don't want to watch it again. There's a lot of that sort of visual, and I love that.
Yeah, it's like got him in its sights. And it's just like waiting, watching.
Lurking around, watching what's going on. I really like that. There was this one piece that I didn't catch, and I was wondering if you did. So when I was looking up stuff about the ending, they had mentioned that it is insinuated that Pedro puts Jair in the fire and burns him. So what it says is, in disbelief, he glares at the blood that's coming out of his son's mouth. And later we see him outside, stopping Jimmy from going in and crying his heart out. And smoke emits from the chimney, as is evident that Pedro has put Jair in the fireplace, leaving his body to burn so that the demon can be killed once and for all. Okay. I watched that little glistening devil baby walk out into the forest and he's not been killed. Now, maybe though, but here's the thing. Demons could be the workers of Satan, right? So maybe this particular demon, because he burned him. I do not get an impression that the demon has been ended. But I did go back this morning and rewind it to watch because I missed all of that. And you do see the smoke. It's pretty boof, boof, billowing out. And I just didn't notice that because I was watching him scream.
I thought, though, the fire was already lit. Like, I feel like I do remember the fireplace being happening. Okay.
It was, but the smoke, if you watch it again, so there's smoke coming out, but it's very little. But then as they pan back, it actually looks CGI. That's how much is coming out. It's like boof, boof, almost like something is burning a lot versus just trickling out. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's what it said.
I definitely did not pick up on this. I didn't think that at all. But it would kind of make sense with his reaction, because I definitely thought his reaction was like more than what I like. This was the one acting moment where I felt like was weird. And I don't think it was from a performance standpoint, but from a direction standpoint, where I was like, what is going on? This guy has just dealt with like unimaginable trauma. He watched like he knows one of his sons is dead, you would think. His brother told him. His ex-wife died. That little girl he saw get killed. Like he's seen some shit by this point. Like, not to minimize it, but realizing that your mom is probably dead because of this demon is like, I didn't know. It just like the collapse and the like, no, this is where it ends for me moment was like, it seemed like it was too big of a thing. So I guess that makes sense if he had to kill his other son.
Yes, I agree with you, because I mean, I'm a mom. Look, I feel you, but now my mother, it just seems like a lot. But if you now had to take your last, he's been fighting to protect his children.
Yeah.
And now you have to actually take your child and murder them. That'd be horrible.
Yeah.
He's stopping him from going in there. I thought because he was stopping him from finding out that his mom had been eaten.
Same.
And I was like, oh, he knows. He knows already. So
yeah, he just got that from the kid in the in the barn. Also, that part, I did like this part where you kind of do find at the end the kid says, I heard voices in my head and I had to do, I had to kill the guy that was going to come and take care of this first. And he's like, what happened to your mom? And he's like, same thing that happened to your mom. Like, I don't think he says it, but we're intercut between the two scenes happening. So we get, he ate her, I guess. But I don't know that
he says it because he says he ate the man too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he cut him and then ate part of him. And then did the same to his mom.
I thought he said, I cut him up and fed him to the pigs.
Yes, he did.
And then it's like, what happened to your mom? Same thing that happened to your mom.
Oh, I think he said, and you fed him to the pigs and I ate some of him.
Oh, okay. Some of him. That's another question I have. How are you eating a whole person?
Like, or maybe it grandma.
Maybe it is just a part.
Grandma.
A whole grandma. That grandma is bigger than this son. Like, how? That doesn't make sense.
He ate her up and all that was left was that ball of hair and a necklace.
Yeah. I liked the reveal of that. I was creepy and good. I liked it.
Great acting. The acting was really, really good.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I accept that he killed his son just because I feel like it makes the ending make more sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. I am just so curious, like, what does this mean now? What happens?
Yeah.
And I appreciate you sharing all of that. You're absolutely right. There's a lot of confusion about how this demon works and how it spreads and how it takes people over and why is Jimmy still okay?
Yeah.
I loved the element with the electricity, because when this lady didn't have electricity and then the little kid had that little battery, the little star light, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And then that whole scene with his mom coming in, and I thought that was really good. And yeah.
Yeah. And I don't feel like we need all the answers for how all of this works. But it was like too complicated on top of not having the answers, where I felt like it just got really muddy.
Let's have like 4 rules max. Okay.
Yeah.
4. And then make it very clear when you don't break, or have 7 rules, whatever it is, but make it very clear when you break a rule. Oh, I'm sorry. There was one piece. What was it in? Okay. I don't remember what article was in, so I'm just going to try to paraphrase it, but they were talking about how and I believe the director said this, but don't quote me on that, that in this movie, this is something that has existed. Everybody knows about it. It's something that's happened before. And there are these rules, but it's really what people remember as they're passing down the stories.
Yeah.
So the rules might not be right, or maybe there's some additions, maybe there's some tweaks, because it's been passed down for so long and they don't see cases like this all the time. It's very, very rare. So I did read something like that, which is fine, but how they present the rules is that these are the rules. And there's no way for me to know without you kind of showing me in the movie that maybe they're not the rules. Maybe if they bicker a little bit, like Tawny, no, it's not that you can't shoot them. You just can't shoot them with a shotgun. Well, I heard you can't use an axe or whatever, so that we understand that there's confusion about really what they're supposed to do. Or maybe, and this last thing I'll say, maybe it has something to do with, we have these rules, which we have a lot of trouble following, period, in modern day life as well, all over. We have these rules. We have trouble following them. And, and we think with these rules that we have control, but it's a very false sense of security and control, because we actually ultimately do not.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought this too, kind of as we were talking about it, because it also came up in Talk to Me. And there was that kind of conversation and vibe around that movie. I'm not spoiling anything by saying this, but there's this, word of mouth story. It's just being passed around from person to person. So you don't really know what is totally true or not. And I do like that. And I felt that a little bit here, where it does feel like it's a little bit more of like a folk tale. Like, we've told it over so many generations. Some of it might not be true, but still, if that was the angle, like, that needed to be more clear. Because I love the idea of, like, nothing fucking works. It doesn't matter if you don't use electric lights. It doesn't matter if you don't kill it with a gun. It doesn't matter if you don't say the name of the like, I like that idea. I just don't think that that's what they were going for either. Like, so I'm like, I get it and I respect it and I like that idea. I just feel like I haven't seen it executed well, because I kind of didn't like that in Talk to Me either. Although I feel like that movie did a better job executing it.
Yeah. Yeah, at the end, I definitely felt like, like that whole ride I was on, nothing. There was like, literally, this was going to be the end no matter what.
Yeah.
Nothing they could have done was going to stop this. Is how I felt.
You're saying, yeah, that is how you felt?
Yeah, that's how I felt. Yeah, at the end, everything they did was for naught. That nothing was going to stop it from happening. That's what I thought. I felt maybe the chick with the little steampunk device.
Yeah, I thought she was their best bet for sure. I was like, this lady, she knows what's going on. She's going to do the thing. Because she had been doing it. She'd said she'd been doing it for like, decades or something with her husband.
Yeah.
Who I guess died at some point. He like never came home, right? She's like, he went off to do one of these and never came home.
I thought that was her husband that got cut in half.
Oh, was it?
I think so.
No, but don't you think he'd be like, I'm going off to go
but
take
then
care of this?
But then he didn't come home.
Yeah, but then
know.
Some people from a close town over show up and they're like, oh, fuck, we got a possessed one. Not like, oh, uh-oh. Maybe my husband wasn't successful.
I thought I read that too. Yeah, I agree with you when they're talking about, a cleaner was on his way and he was killed. She doesn't have a reaction.
Right. I think that's what I thought. I thought, oh shit, was that her husband? And then I was like, no, everybody just reacted in the way that told me no. That's not what this is.
Oh, maybe not. She doesn't seem too upset about that.
Yeah, she doesn't seem too worried.
Should we rate it?
Let's do it. I think I've landed at a straight 3.
All right. All right.
Pretty smack dab in the middle. middle-ish. Because I liked it more than my 2.75s, but less than anything higher, 3.25s. I feel like some of the good parts were really good, and I did like how gory and like shocking and I don't know, there were some thrills to be had, you know? It was like fun in that way. It just was like, I feel like a little too overly complicated. Just could have been streamlined a little bit, but I liked the meanness of it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I agree. So you talked me down. I was going to give it a 4 when I had watched it. But I'm giving it a 3.5.
Okay.
I think that fits really nicely. I believe I gave It Follows a 3.5 as well. And it was very much the same vibe. Like there's so much I liked about It Follows, but I also remember there were some issues I felt. So I think that fits really nicely. And I feel really confident about that. 3.5.
Okay. I really would be curious to know how you would feel about The Dark and the Wicked again upon rewatching, because I went back and looked at that score because I was curious. I gave that a 4, and I really enjoyed that movie. I thought it was really good. But I remember you really hate, like we were really split on that one. And I feel like this pulled a lot of pulled a lot of inspiration from The Dark and the Wicked. It felt very much like that movie to me. And so I'm even curious to revisit The Dark and the Wicked and see how it kind of stacks up to this. But
you know what? I will. Before this month is over, I will watch The Dark and the Wicked.
Okay. You don't have to. No pressure.
No, I want to, because I think that's a movie I should like. I did watch.
It's your boy, Brian Bertino.
Yeah, I told you that I did watch The Lodge again, and I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it more than the second time, so I will give this a go.
Okay. After all, you're 2023.
Yes, exactly. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for coming back with us. What we're going to be doing is we are going to come to you every other week with a new episode. So that's what we committed to. You can expect and look out for episodes every other week. Like I mentioned at the beginning, our next episode will be a year in review. This will probably be like just because we're closing out December, it's going to be 2 weeks in a row, but starting 2024 every other week. Anyways.
Yeah.
So it's going to be our year in review. I love this episode. Hope you guys do too. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you like us, follow us on Instagram at 2 Chicks and a Horror Flick. Or search for us on your favorite social media platform. I have to look at my notes because I haven't said this for so long. Your favorite social media platform, and follow us there. What else, Tawny?
You can support the show by giving us a like, review, and subscribe on whatever podcatcher you're listening to us on. That's it. So we will see you at the end of the year for our year in review. And then on to 2024. So I hope you have such a good... Well, I got to save that one. I hope you have such a good night. No nightmares.